Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another MaNiC live stream. AEW Double or Nothing recap, motherfuckers. Yes, yes, yes. Back at it, motherfuckers. How's it been? How you living? Manic Gabe in this piece, coming straight at you from downtown Oakland, the 510 East Bay, motherfuckers. It's hot as hell out here in the Bay Area, bro. I'm not talking about the heat either, bro. So, I'm a little late on the stream. Double or Nothing, Vegas. Hold on, let me check the freaking mics on my freaking stream here. That sounds great. Let me check my vocals here before we get into this. Make sure all the things all set here. All the streaming takes a lot of work, especially live streaming. I give a lot of people respect that puts anything like into this. All right, let me set this up over here. Get this set up right here. Come over here. Get this set up right here. Bear with me, motherfuckers, motherfuckers, while I set this up. I told you it was hot out here. You hear that? It seems like all I do is hear like sirens and freaking this violent. Man, my whole life's crazy, you guys. Just the area I live in is straight, just off the hook. It's nonsense, bro. I can't believe the shit I deal with. I can't believe the shit I deal with on a regular out here. It's insane, bro. This just the shit I see. I mean, walk like I had a friend freaking come over and visit me recently, right? And freaking right when we walked out my house, somebody took a fat shit in the freaking in front of my house, basically, right? And freaking she was just all like, should you call the cops? And the cops just happened to be coming out of the liquor store right when she said that. It was freaking nuts. Like, what do I do? You know, what do we do here? How do we send? How do we freaking? I don't. I'm having trouble figuring out like what's normal and what's not normal out here nowadays. Like, what's okay, what's not okay, what should be causes for concern for me, like, it's a big deficit. What is and is not politically correct nowadays out here. I don't know where to be. Like, the news will do a big old spit about how, like, there's freaking so much crime going on and whatnot and everywhere else in the world, right? But like what in like Vegas, there was just like what 10 people shot, or there was just 5 people shot in Oakland, and that didn't make the news. The the value on life out here is so different. It's crazy how this freaking world values certain lives of certain people amongst certain demographics in certain areas, and it. All right, I think I got that. Yeah, all right, I figured that part out. All right, that looks good. Doo-doo-doo. All right, this and then so check this out. So let's get this straight out the bat. I cannot tell if Oakland's getting better or worse because it's already been pretty bad. So after I do this double lip review, right? How about we go into freaking local news? We'll watch a couple wrestling matches. I don't gotta be at work till later tomorrow, so freaking we'll be here for a minute, chopping it up with you. So freaking AEW double or nothing. Las Vegas, bruh. So if y'all freaking follow my content, you would know I was at the first double or nothing in Vegas, right? And that was off the hook. It seems like they put this show together pretty last minute, which was fine with me. You know what I mean? Because freaking, I kind of planned this trip a little last minute. I took like 2 weeks off for my birthday. I fit so much shit in 2 weeks, right? And I ended it with the trip to Vegas for double or nothing. I planned it like a week before it happened, right? So I'm looking at tickets. Caught the freaking sick ass ticket. You'll see from the footage. Sick ass ticket for $300, right? Was it worth it? Fuck yeah, it was. Hell yeah, it was. A lot of people rant and rave about how this wrestling shit's for little kids, but I don't know too many little kids that have the freaking ends to spend on freaking a $300 seat to AEW. And to tell you the truth, bro, I didn't see too many kids there. A lot of you would be surprised how many grown ass people freaking have been following this shit their whole lives. You know, I freaking when did I freaking tap in? I tapped into this shit in '88, probably '87. I had uncles that watched this shit. Uh, they're very passionate about it. I feel like anything that I watch, I'm very passionate about, right? So freaking '90s, I was watching freaking WWE. Uh, I was watching freaking WWF at the time, and it was just a bunch of kids shit. Of course, I'm a little kid, but then I had uncles that had the lock on NWA, and they started showing me freaking the one match that fucking blew me away, right? That got me hooked on this shit, right? Was freaking Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard in a freaking I Quit match. NWA, I think that was like 85, 86, but they had a freaking bloody I Quit match, man. Magnum TA would have been a man. You know, Magnum TA was freaking a G, bruh. He got into a car accident. We've talked about it on here on these streams before. He got into a car accident, but he would have been the next Hulk Hogan. That was like he was a star right there, bro. And Tully Blanchard was at AEW too. That was cool. I saw a recent interview with Tully Blanchard where he was freaking. They asked him like what was his role at AEW, and he was just basically saying he was a consultant. Basically, I think they basically shoveled money out to Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson just for clout. Just to say, I mean, if anything, give back to the wrestling business, giving back to these OGs that have put in freaking time and their bodies and sweat and time away from their families just to create the business that we're in now. You know, but he had said one of them, the freaking interview had asked him straight up, like, what kind of advice did the youngsters ask from you, right? They got a freaking great brain of Tully Blanchard from the Four Horsemen to pick at. And he straight up said none of them asked for advice or anything. And I found that to be ridiculous, bro. I found that to be so ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want to pick the brain of freaking Tully Blanchard or Arn Anderson? And I think CM Punk had a good freaking point, bro. It's all these freaking youngsters. They don't want to freaking show any love to the OGs, bruh. They're just all like they're in their bubble, or maybe it's the OGs that just don't want to waste time on the youngsters because they don't agree with how they freaking this whole spot fest style that we're so into right now, you know. And that's a good point too. It's a good point too, you know. Good points all up. But I'm not there, so I wouldn't know, you know. I'm not there. I'm not there in the freaking AEW locker room peeping how these things go or how they don't go, you know. So how would I know? But it's fun to speculate these things, you know. So AEW off the bat, let's freaking set this up for you right now. So this is freaking on point for y'all. Let me get this set for y'all here. Ching 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 ching. Ching, 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 ching. Get that set right there. Bro, I'm trying to really figure out how to freaking stop this. Uh, my uploads going like this. But I apologize ahead of time. Let's get into this. Hey, area, marijuana. I wanna marry ya. Went to a club and I got booted for getting twisted and getting stupid. See, off the bat, you could already see I had freaking great seats for this man. Why I never figured out, like, especially with a lot of the content creators that are out there right now, and people freaking they invest so much of their lives into pro wrestling, doing the content reviews and everything. Why would they have a freaking nosebleed seat, living like a peasant when you could be on the floor living like the king, bruh? This, this is it for clout? I don't know. If I'm going to an event, I'm on the floor. I've seen freaking WrestleManias on floor. The thing Royal Rumbles on the floor, bruh. It's just more intimate, and it's just. But I do have to agree that you do get a better view if you're in the freaking peasant seats, you know. But I just the atmosphere on the floor and the the surround sound of everything and the mat hitting and spit flying. I love that, bro. All right, let's get into this, bro. This is my freaking YouTube recap of all the freaking AEW Double or Nothing. Bro, Thunder Rosa. Bro, that's crazy. I used to freaking see Thunder Rosa wrestling in indies out here, man. She got a lot better. Like I didn't think she was gonna be a star. I think because when she was working the indies out here, I think she was just not fully tapped into her career, or there were just a lot of these indie cats were trying to invest in her. But she got a lot better, bro. Here, props to her, man, for sure. I got a freaking selfie with Billy Gunn, bro. What a G, he's still looking good. Uh, bro, off the bat, Will Ospreay and freaking Robert Strong put on a straight banger. Like I've freaking never seen before. That match was freaking everything you ever wanted in a freaking dream match. Will Ospreay is freaking off the hook. Will Ospreay is having such a great freaking run right now. I just hope they don't freaking cap him off, bro. It seems like AEW knows what they're doing. Their freaking television shows aren't the best, but their pay-per-views they go hard on, bro. And they're freaking I always said that wrestling fans don't know what they want. You know, props to AEW for promoting like structuring everything towards the smart fans, but at the end, the wrestling fans they don't know. We don't know what we want. We want to be surprised. You know, we want freaking us to think we know what's going on, but then you shake it all up and they get us all freaking riled up, and then we got something to freaking rant about on these streams, bro. So let's finish watching this. Let me shut up.
You sure it came on out? It came down. All right.
Damn. That shit's hard, bro. Yo, I'm gonna be stopping this a lot. I apologize, but freaking, that was a. It seemed like the whole night was great pops, bro. Because I was a fan during the Midnight Wars, and I was a fan like early WCW, WWF days. I remember watching freaking Ron Simmons win the world freaking title on WCW TV, right? And then I just remember freaking I was in a room full of people and everybody popped for that. First African American world champion. That was a big deal. For minorities, that was a big deal, bro. Especially in the times that was. Like around the time of the LA riots and there's all kinds of freaking racial tension going on in the world. I thought that was a great idea for them. So I felt like that was like a wrestling, like a peak of wrestling, right? A resurgence, I think they call it. And then I felt like I witnessed another resurgence with the freaking Attitude Era and the NWO, and then another resurgence when like they actually started WWE started actually pushing all these indie guys, and then I saw another resurgence with freaking all the indie guys actually starting to get title wins, and I feel like I'm starting. And after this event, I feel like I witnessed another resurgence. Like I felt like we're watching a new wrestling war go down. AEW's taking it to that level, and WWE has to pick it up. Because don't get me wrong, I was at WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania was cool. Don't get me wrong, but some of those matches were not the best. Jay Uso and freaking uh his brother did not have a good match. That was not a good match. We went over this already in the last podcast, but it just didn't have that Owen and Brett vibe. It didn't have that Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy vibe. It didn't have that brother to brother grunge match, you know? And that AJ Styles, we talked about this a lot, but that AJ Styles match too was not very good, right? It was not very good whatsoever. Like that feud they had going into that, I felt like they did not continue the feud leading up. Like it's almost like it was a totally different match set up because I felt like a good feud, right, has a build up, right, and they had the build up. Don't get me wrong, right, but I felt like each match in the build up has to be an evolution of that whole feud. I felt like AJ's match was just another match. It didn't seem like a grudge match. You know, they had all that heat. They had the whole freaking rumble at the fan fest and everything, and it just didn't have that. It seems like AJ. I think AJ is just not there anymore. Don't get me wrong. That I've loved that guy for years. AJ Styles was the man, innovator of high flying, innovator of like just mixing the Mexican lucha, the Japan, the American styles together, right? But it just seems like at one time it was dope, you know? At one time it was something like very, very crucial to him. Hold on, let me check the audio on this really fast. See how I'm sounding? Yeah, it's sounding great. So freaking, I just feel like now he just looks like everybody else. Everybody else is doing the same thing, and the same thing with Finn Balor. I feel like everybody's doing their same style. There's nothing that sets them apart. Like visually, there's nothing that sets them apart anymore. The rest, and I feel like they both have to just change up their styles because it's just an evolution. Everybody needs to like everybody's style needs to evolve. Chris Jericho, his style is constantly evolving. You know, Roman Reigns, believe it or not, his style is constantly evolving. Sami Zayn is a good one. Sami Zayn's style is constantly evolving, but it seems like these they get so content with just doing the same stuff and having the same types of matches that they just get lost in the shuffle, and it's sad. Yeah, that was a dope moment. Good for him. Good for freaking him, bro. Good for him. Can I pause this real? Hold on. Seeing MJF, bro. So there was somebody that knew MJF was going to be there because they were at the freaking, I think it was like the airport in Colorado on their way to freaking double or nothing. And they said they saw him at the airport, right? And so, and then I think there were sightings of him there as well, getting out of a freaking limousine. So everybody knew he was there. But this is how you freaking milk a wrestling freaking comeback. We haven't seen or heard anything from MJF in a whole year. He's been off the map this whole time. Since last year's Double or Nothing, he's been off the freaking map. And so freaking I've been a part of I've seen like a lot of live freaking like wrestling freaking pops. I was there when Eddie Guerrero beat freaking Brock Lesnar. I was there when freaking at WrestleMania when Seth Rollins cashed in his money in the bank and won the title. But there was something about this pop that freaking had my freaking hairs freaking popping up on my arms and the back of my neck. And it was almost like I was looking at an alien for the first time because it was so surreal. You get so captivated, right? And I feel like WWE, they got us to they got us in a chokehold, right? Where they're like, okay, you're gonna pop for this, you're gonna pop for this, and you're gonna pop for this, you're gonna pop for this, you're gonna pop for this. It doesn't seem it's not that much genuine reactions coming out. It's all planned. AEW on the other hand, man, they got that was a genuine reaction. That was something that they didn't really build. It was all freaking just word of mouth. And then the fact that he came back as at a year from the time that he disappeared, with lots of speculation that he was going to sign with WWE. He was even freaking tweeting stuff that he was going to sign. We all kind of knew he was coming back, but this was just the pop, bruh. Was just listen. That pop though, bruh, amazing.
Let the ref do his job, you discount style. Yes, yes.
Bruh, okay, so the MGF, the MJF was a freaking pop of a lifetime, bruh. I'm so happy that they saved they saved so much fresh shit for this pay-per-view that it was more than freaking awesome to spend $300 for that freaking fifth row ticket. But the wrestling fans too had me cracking up. That dude right there had me cracking up the whole time, bruh. The homie next to me was from LA, and he was cool as hell, right? The homies in back of me were wrestling fans. The homies in front of me were wrestling fans. I'm talking about smart marks. I'm not talking about no casual wrestling fans either, bruh. So the conversations were awesome. Uh, I had some homies sitting in the nosebleed seats, but I was sitting down there by myself. But you meet people, and I swear to God, by the end of the night, it felt like you know in the real life. That I met random people there that I ended up partying with. And I'm jumping in the hotels with them, and I'm just all like, we're kicking it, we're vibing, the vibes right. But I'm just all like, bro, I don't know these people very well. What am I doing? Jumping in freaking Ubers and hotel, jumping in random hotels with these people. But freaking the vibes are great. I've I've never had a bad experience at a wrestling show, even with the fans, right? I don't know what it is, but there's something about this business where it's everybody's so different and there's so many different subcultures is represented, right? But there's something about this business, this wrestling business, man. It blows my mind that I've been following this shit all over the United States, And when I was a freaking kid, you dream about freaking you watching WrestleMania and watching the Rumble and just being like, you know what, I'm gonna be there one day. How fresh would it be to be at WrestleMania? How fresh would that be? You know, now freaking I'm almost 40 in this piece. I got freaking tons of WrestleManias under my belt, tons of pay-per-views, ROH, CZW. I've been freaking all over the world, and just freaking I love professional wrestling.
Yes! Package pile driver. Oh!
Damn, the Lucha Brothers are off the hook. Lucha Brothers killed it, bro. I know I'm stopping this a lot, and I apologize, but I love the walkthroughs, like from just I film at least three of these each time of just walking into the arena, so you can see the whole vibe. And as you can see, the whole place is sold out. There's not just half of the arena blocked out or anything. So everybody always got something to say about AEW and half of the arena. This don't look like no half of the arena to me, motherfucker.
That's the thing that's too far. All back to Winnipeg. Oh, too far.
Damn. Chris Jericho, still a goat. Ah, here we go. All right. So, of course, the barbed wire cage is coming down. Aleister Black and Edge are about to tear it up. I'm surprised how much blood they lost during this match. Like that barbed wire was not. I don't know how AEW is getting away with this. They're getting fined for sure, But I think Tony Khan got so much money. God bless Tony Khan. I'm sure they got fined so much for all the stuff that went down at this freaking event. But freaking, God bless him for freaking spending money, bruh. That we needed Tony Khan. We needed him to come through, throw a couple $1 million down, get the best talent from all over the world, and let them wrestle the kind of matches they want to wrestle. You know, so the styles of wrestling that they put on, there's too many different styles going on. I get it. I think that's why WWE has the more like fan friendly product because it's all the same style, right? You're seeing a full on wrestling freaking extravaganza from front to back. AEW has a lot of different styles going on, and I don't think they really tapped into how to translate each one and still create a wrestling product. Uh, Volcano and Commander were not at this show. I think there's a freaking which at first I was kind of pissed about, but then again, like they wrestle a style that's so like next level that it makes the rest of the show look bad. So I'm almost happy they weren't here. But I know there's a big freaking AEW signed a deal with CMLL, and they said that they don't want none of their ops on AEW TV, and so that's why I think you're not really seeing Volcano or Commander on freaking on TV anymore. All right, let's get to this, bro. This match was great. Everything but the botch at the very end was with the when Edge came off the cage. We'll talk about that.
I came out here as Adam to talk to all of you.
A man named Adam was so pivotal to the industry that he changed.
Damn, the cage coming down, bro.
Positives.
Man really created a facade.
All right, I like the presentation. I like how they took all the freaking lights down. It seems like they did it like old school WWF house show status, where like they kept all the house lights down and they just put a big spotlight like right in the middle. Watching that cage come down, bro, gave me chills, bro. There's so many freaking. My wig was split so much during this event, bro. Watching, and I've seen death matches, I've seen barbed wire matches, I've seen exploding matches. The way they presented this, like even though it wasn't the bloodiest match in the world, there wasn't freaking 20 light tubes busted within the first 10 minutes. We don't really need that. They told a great story. I feel like the storytelling in wrestling is being lost. You know, I feel especially with WWE, you're not really getting genuine reactions. I feel like their whole match is freaking written for them. AEW, I feel like they're really going out there and they're feeding off the fans, especially with the pay-per-views because they're getting a lot more time.
What he really was. And thus the devil sent a man from the house.
Aleister Black, bruh. Look, they're putting the money into Aleister Black, man. Damn. They put money into the boy. So I love the Brood freaking entrance, right? But I was butthurt that Edge didn't come out to his entrance music. I mean, they did at the very end, right? And that shit was cracking. But Edge got the best entrance music in wrestling, bro. Because every time he comes out and people are singing that track, I feel the goosebumps on my neck. You know, I mean, I've said that, but like you don't really get that one with sports, man. You really don't. I feel like baseball, football, that's all freaking. It's brain numbing. I mean, I watched that stuff. Everybody talks about that stuff. Everybody at my work talks about it, and they're having the same conversations that they're seeing on ESPN. And there's at wrestling is universal, man. There's so many different federations out there. I mean, I felt like I was peeping NXT right before this, right? And there's so much going on that I don't know any. I don't really know a couple of these people. So they're Googling them, seeing who they are, Wikipediaing them. I mean, that's the kind of shit I love. There's so many workers out there, so many great workers, man. We need to do a freaking next week. I'll do a fucking whole 6 month recap. The last 6 months, we'll do the best matches. I'll do my five top best matches, five top feuds, five top workers. Because I'm pretty tapped in, right? I watch everything, but it's crazy how there's workers that will slip through the cracks that I haven't tapped in yet that are freaking amazing. When I went to freaking Philadelphia for WrestleMania, and it was at a lot of those indie cards, right? I was like JCW, and there was names on there that I've never heard of that will freaking blew me away. They were freaking great talents, man. All right, here we go. Edge's freaking Brood entrance. Yeah, barbed wire back.
Oh,
awesome.
Oh shit. Armin, they're up top. Oh fuck.
Watch out for that
Oh,
barbed
they're
wire,
hanging the
bro.
barbed wire.
Man, they were reckless with that barbed wire too, man.
He's wrapping him in barbed wire around the
Oh,
fucking
shit.
table, bro.
Holy shit.
Bro, they're cut, man.
Oh my god.
That's real barbed wire right there.
Fuck.
You sick fuck.
Sick fuck.
You sick fuck.
And we started that chat.
You sick fuck.
All right, so we're gonna dissect this whole freaking jump we're about to see right here because freaking I don't know what happened here. I have a freaking so Edge freaking shattered his ankle right here, right? And Edge has done freaking high flying stuff before, so I think the fact that he lost so much blood, right, had him loopy as hell, right? Or the fact that I mean they were being so reckless with the barbed wire the whole match that the fact that Aleister Black was wrapped in barbed wire and he wanted to protect Aleister Black by jumping off, maybe not the best solution, maybe not the best speculation, but the fact that maybe Edge didn't want to go through that barbed wire, you know, and then the fact that maybe they didn't really plan the spot to begin with, which is something else. Like WWE would never do that. I feel like they had the spot planned, but they didn't because I felt like if you I rewatched it on freaking when I got home I rewatched the whole pay per view, and a lot of the cameras weren't set up for the spot. That's why I think that the spot they planned the spot on the freaking limb. They went out there and they planned it on the spot. I don't think it was prepared for everything WWE is prepared for with camera angles and everything. But I felt like especially with this match that they were freaking working off the crowd. All right, y'all ready, man? We're about to see this real freaking Edge shatter his freaking ankle. And everybody noticed that something went wrong, right? Everybody's seen Edge come down on his freaking ankle. And normally when you see a big spot like that, it's a big pop. But, I mean, there was a silence over the crowd before the holy shit chant started. And that's something like you would never see in WWE. Everybody's like, damn!
Crowd goes silent, bro. That was awful. That was holy shit.
And the thing was, were they holy shitting the actual spot, or were they holy shit the fact that Edge just freaking shattered his freaking leg?
Where's Julia then?
And you see Edge limping. But Gangrel's back, motherfucker. Hell yeah. And legit, bro, everybody was singing along with Edge's freaking theme song. That was a moment. I noticed that not Philadelphia, but the last WrestleMania in LA, when Edge came out, it was the same thing. People were freaking. It was a whole moment. The fact that they were all chatting at one time was freaking a moment of a lifetime, bro. I couldn't believe that. I was singing right, and I sat for a second. I looked around, and everybody was just singing the same word at the same time, and it was very organic. This one especially was very organic. I remember looking around and just feeling that vibe of everybody freaking spitting every word of this song. Bruh, okay, I want to speak on this. Mercedes and Willow, bro. Willow was blown up halfway through the match. Mercedes was running circles around her, bro. So, I mean, I know a lot of people within the wrestling business, right? And I've wrestled before, right? And I think like when two people are working against each other, if one of them starts fucking up spots or is too blown up or really can't perform at a certain like level, right? The other person just takes over the whole match and waits for that person to gain their breath. And if they don't gain their breath, then they're just, I mean, the match. This match was not a good match, only because I mean Mercedes was on point. Sasha Banks was on point. It just seems like Willow was freaking blown up. She was missing spots. Uh, Actually, Willow was the one Mercedes Monet was working in New Japan when Mercedes Monet messed up her leg. That's what happens with these workers, man. They're getting pushed too fast. They're getting pushed way too fast. They don't know how to work many different styles. Mercedes Monet really hasn't been all over the world. That's why, like, I think her New Japan matches and some of her other matches aren't good because she only knows one style. But I feel like now that she's away from WWE, she can tap in with different styles and whatnot. But once you're freaking homegrown in that WWE style, it's hard to get yourself out that bubble. But yeah, Willow was blown up. Mercedes Monet, she wrestled circles around freaking Willow. It was freaking ridiculous. The fan signs were off the hook. That shit had me cracking up. Okay, this was the next one, Anarchy in the Arena. This was one of the freaking. You got six people all over the arena. I had to rewatch this when I got home. I had ordered the pay per view, rewatched it just to catch all the spots I missed because freaking I missed Darby Allin coming off the balcony. I missed so many great spots. There were just so much going on. There was so it was legitimately anarchy in the arena. And I've freaking I've seen two of these before, styles of these where there's like just different group. There's like two teams going at it all over the arena, but it seemed like this one was had it everything to perfect to a T. They waited for a spot to pop off over here on this end for the spot to pop off over here. So it seems like as soon as you see a spot over here, you look over to the freaking across the stadium and you're seeing another spot. You look over here, there's another spot, and there were just time the spots. Everything was freaking timed perfectly, and the fact that they had the final countdown playing, uh, I like that song. But never really a big fan of that song, but freaking when they had that blaring over and over while the music was playing, it reminded me of like New Jack and Natural Born Killers. Whenever New Jack came out, Natural Born Killers would just blare the whole match. It had that vibe to it. That was great.
Dad, take my beer! Let's go!
Bro, can I just speak on this? Seeing Okada live is something else, man. That dude's gonna be a great worker one day. Just the way he moves, the way he looks, uh, everything he does, it resonates. Every move he makes sense. He does not waste one step or 1 second while the camera's on. I've seen him wrestle like real good, like athletic competitions, but it's cool to see him like a little bit out of his element and like a false count anywhere type match.
Get him, Okada!
Wrestling! I think it's great! I'm such a... Didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, they had so much going on at one time, man. So much. All right, now this spot was something I didn't think would happen. Uh, I've seen a lot of shit in pro wrestling. I've seen fire spots before, but never a whole person set on freaking fire. And I knew I knew they were gonna do something like this because what Vince would never let happen would never like while they were setting this up, right? And Perry went back to go freaking drag Tony Khan out in the back. Uh, you saw people coming through with fire extinguishers, right? And then you saw the freaking the production people setting up Darby Allin's fire gun, right? Vince would never let that happen. Don't get me wrong. Like if you weren't seated right there, like I was, you wouldn't have saw shit. But so they're kind of slipping a little bit. AEW's kind of slipping on that. Vince would never let that out for old Triple H now. I would never let that happen. You got to protect the business. Awesome. Awesome. Holy shit. Holy shit.
You had a bottle. Use the bottle.
Damn. But Darby Allin was hanging from that roof for a minute. I was legitly concerned for Homeboy's freaking well-being because he was up there for too long. And didn't he just get into an accident? Didn't he? He got into his athletic, like I think he was skateboarding or was he snowboarding and got into an accident. Then he got into a car accident. He should not have been in this match. So, and while we're here, I'll speak on it. Like I love the fact that they're doing all this barbed wire and fire and freaking they're doing a lot of freaking they're elevating that ECW style, next generation. But I really feel like AEW does not care about the well-being of their talent. WWE cares too much, you know? I feel like and that's why a lot of wrestlers are freaking jumping to AEW because they're freaking concussions. Their bones, their injuries cannot pass a physical test. AEW don't give a fuck. They'll explode they'll expose who they need to get their profits. Oh yeah, you like the wrestling business? You want to wrestle with three concussions? Go ahead. But I also think by the time a lot of WWE people get signed to AEW, they're already broken. They're not really like that. Don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan's still having great freaking matches, man. Like he's having dream matches. He's having the matches I want to see. He's not Daniel Bryan wrestling Okada and Will Ospreay. That's Bryan Danielson right there. That's the American Dragon right there. And the shift in styles is so different. A lot of WWF stars going over, they wrestle the same style they wrestled in WWE, right? I felt like Daniel changed his whole style up. That's the American Dragon. That's not Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. That's not Daniel Bryan. That's Bryan Danielson right there. The yes movement still in full effect. Damn. Yeah. Great moment, bruh. Great moment. Great freaking moment.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you, brother.
Y'all saw that? Y'all saw that? I supermarked that right there. Y'all saw that? I know you did. All right, let's get back over here, bro. So freaking my conclusion is I walked out of that place freaking geeked. You know, I was just all like, bruh, this is a new freaking wave of wrestling at its peak, bruh. And then I remember freaking thinking, right when I got right when I left the venue, right. Well, I had stayed at a freaking MGM Grand, and the event was there. The cool thing was they were letting you come and go. Like I bought hella merch, right? And I went up to the entrance and I'm like, hey, is it cool if I leave and come back in? And they're like, yeah, just scan your ticket, right? And I swear to God, when I left and came back, I saw that Rhea Ripley was there. I saw Rhea Ripley and she was chilling. That's what I love about this Triple H era, right? It seems like Vince would you could not be seen at another event. You had to either go incognito. Uh, what was it? SummerSlam in Vegas. They had a GCW show, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were there in masks and whatnot. Everybody knew it was them because people had got pictures with them like earlier in the day, and they were wearing the same thing, but they had to come through a mask. Rhea Ripley wasn't tripping. Her dude works for AEW, so I don't think she wasn't on camera or anything. I don't know where she was sitting, but this new Triple H era is gonna be sick, brother. The Forbidden Door is busted wide open, bruh. Freaking WWE workers they're working freaking Bloodsport. And they're working in Japan. Uh, I think WWE and AEW, that feud is going to come to a head one day, right? There's going to be a big event for that. But it won't be a Tony Khan and a Triple H thing. I think it's going to be a network thing. Two different networks that are going to be putting this together. 'Cause it makes sense. For money, it makes sense. Because wrestling's hot as hell. Wrestling's so hot right now. I have so much respect for what all these people go through. There's no off season. Half of y'all's favorite athletes, baseball, football, basketball, MMA, they're not working 24/7. They're not out there 24/7. They're not out there freaking on the road 3 times a week, 4 times a week, you know? And they're not, I swear, WWE schedule's crazy. I looked at freaking just the dates. I mean, they're going out of the country at least 2 times a month, coming flying all the way back just to be back by Monday for Raw, right? And it's funny because they cut down on like a house show or two, but they're still freaking doing great. They're still doing at least 5 events a week. That's crazy. I think it's so dope that there's any night of the week that you're home, there's wrestling. New Japan, AEW, TNA, WWE. There's something for everybody. And I swear, like as a wrestling fan, this is an era that I've dreamed of. Like everywhere you go, like people were talking about AEW, right? I remember leaving just thinking, what are people gonna say about this event? What are the bloggers gonna say? What are the freaking smart marks gonna say? They're always bashing. They have so much to say. Everybody has so much to say about every event, right? Besides like 2 matches on the card, all the the events were dope. All the matches were dope. And when I got home, we start checking like freaking what culture and everything. Everybody had nothing but awesome things to say about that event. And if you notice, the last WWE pay-per-view was almost better than WrestleMania. Besides the freaking, of course, the Cody and the Roman thing. That was awesome. Great moment. And I think Damian Priest winning the title, cashing in Money in the Bank. Great moment. But I felt like everything else was lackluster, not truly unique. The only real the ECW tribute wasn't that good. I felt like they could have done a lot more, But just hearing ECW's name mentioned on freaking WWE TV is crazy. Like I remember getting in the freaking ECW in the '90s. My uncle had a friend named Gilbert, right? And he was another one of those guys that was just like, hey, why are you watching this stupid shit? Why are you watching this kid stuff? So we had a little black and white TV, right? On this little black and white TV, there was this channel, right? That at night, like after 7 o'clock, it showed nothing but wrestling, right? Nothing but wrestling. So we're getting Smoky Mountain. We're getting stuff in New Jersey. Barry Horowitz was a big jobber at the time in WWF, right? But on these outlaw mud show outlets, they were showing me on this TV, Barry Horowitz was a world champion. I was like, what? I was in kindergarten. But on Friday nights, they would show me ECW, right? And I remember Mikey Whipwreck broke his rib, right? They made a big thing about Mikey Whipwreck breaking his rib, right? And he came back the next week with the broken rib and was still wrestling and still wrestling. I felt like I knew wrestling. I know wrestling's fake, right? But the way that dude performed and his passion and his facial expressions, like I seriously thought this fool had a broken rib, and I felt for that fool. I felt for him too. He was losing every matches, always getting his ass kicked. This is around the time Steve Austin came, right? And they finally gave Mikey a push. They gave him the world title. He was in triple threat matches with freaking Steve Austin and the Sandman. Now, let it be known in this triple threat match, right? Uh, Mikey Whipwreck, he had a move called the Whippersnapper. It was basically a Stone Cold Stunner from the top rope, way before Stone Cold did it. And then Sandman was coming through, busting beers, drinking, way before Stone Cold did it in WWE. And then, right when he got signed and Stone Cold started getting hot, he stole the stunner from Mikey Whipwreck, started busting up beers like the Sandman. That's why, I felt like my era of the Attitude Era, right, when I was watching all that, was really tainted. A lot of people said that was the best era in wrestling, right? But I feel like, because I was watching ECW at the time, right? I was getting through our video, I was getting like 4 hours of freaking all the hardcore TVs, right? And you would see them do something in ECW, and then WWF would just copy it, right? So they basically the whole Attitude Era was basically all copied from ECW. Like it might not have been as intense, right? But it was a lot of similar, a lot of so many similar things that it's not a coincidence. And then if you zoom in on some of those old ECW shows at the ECW arena, you'll see freaking Bruce Pritchard and a bunch of other freaking agents there. They're sitting there freaking taking notes, bro. So don't get me wrong, the Attitude Era was dope, right? But in my brain, they were just freaking copying everything that's going on in freaking ECW. So that it was not my it. It was like, and then I felt like I was the only kid that knew about ECW at my freaking at school. And so I started to double. I had two VCRs. I was ordering our videotapes, like best of ECW, best of hardcore ECW, ECW bloodiest matches, dubbing them and just giving them to my friends, right? And I think I got my mom into a lot of trouble too because the kids were watching this bloody shit, and they were just all like, Where'd you get this from? What are my kids listening to? What are my kids watching?" All right, let me bust out some of those for us here real fast. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, let's catch up with the WrestleMania, yeah?
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some
All right, let's catch up.
more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including rest in peace WWE legend and Roman Reigns' father, Sika Anawahi.
RIP, bro.
Incredibly sad news for Pat McAfee. Is Dominic Mysterio a future WWE champion? Is a former WWE name returning to wrestling? Does Goldberg won a WWE Hall of Fame induction? And much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
There
Also
we
check out
go.
new videos on WrestleMania XL. Now let's see the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at rest in peace WWE legend Sika Anawahi. Now there's some incredibly unfortunate news to share as legendary WWE wrestler
Rough.
known as Sika Anawahi has passed away. The news was confirmed by Jairus Anawahi, who took to Instagram to pay tribute to his uncle. It's with profound sadness that I share the news of the passing of former Hall of Famer Palavio Liti Sika
Rough.
Anawahi. He passed away peacefully on June 25th. Sika was a celebrated figure whose contributions and legacy have left an indelible mark. His
Yep.
memory will live on through his achievements and the many lives he's touched. He was many things: a hard-working father, a caring brother, a supportive uncle, and a proud grandfather. He was a cherished friend to many, a loving family member whose warmth and kindness knew no bounds, and an inspiration to countless individuals. His legacy will continue to inspire and uplift future generations, reminding us of the impact one person's life can have on so many. Rest in
Yep.
love, Uncle Sika. Our fans will mostly know Sika for his work in the Wild Samoans tag team, and he is of course the father of former WWE champion Roman Reigns. We
Yup.
extend our condolences to the Anawahi family during this difficult time. Next up, sad news for Pat McAfee.
All right, bro. I gotta speak on this. I feel like a lot of wrestling fans do not know who Roman Reigns' dad is. The Wild Samoans were real big out here in San Francisco, right? Uh, Before the internet and shit, it was just all word of mouth. I had uncles, I had friends that had parents, and so check this out. So when I first started really getting into pro wrestling as a kid, right, there was a Samoan family that was somehow related to the Samoans and everybody and Jimmy Snuka, and Samoans love pro wrestling, bro. So every pay per view, I remember watching everything from 92 to 96. No, 95. Every pay per view was at their house. And they'd cook for everybody. Every single kid was invited to come through and watch wrestling at this family's house. And they had food for everybody, they fed everybody. And they would tell me, like, the pops, I'd listen to the pop, me and pops, his pops had great wrestling conversations, bro. He would tell me all about the Samoans, the Wild Samoans. And Sika, man, he said that dude was a real one. And he said he's up there with me as one of the freaking badasses of professional wrestling. You know what? I need to search for that family on like Instagram or Facebook and see how they are, man, because that meant a lot that they were just so passionate about wrestling. You know that and I think they would do when Monday Night Raw started popping off, we'd watch Raw over there too. You know, we'd watch Raw, every major pay per view. The homeboy, he had a hella VHS tapes of freaking all kinds of stuff. Like he was a good tape. Like I could tell he was tapped in with wrestling and probably was tapped and really was tapped in with the Swans because he had matches from on VHS tape from that were indie stuff, you know, at the time. And a lot of freaking some of the VHSs he had were hard cams, not even full on productions, right? And I just remember sitting there with the family and just watching whole freaking hard cams of freaking some Puerto Rico matches and then matches from freaking the Los Angeles Sports Arena and a lot of Japan stuff, right? And so I was so lucky I was able to get so tapped in around that time.
There's more unfortunate news to share now and relates to Pat McAfee.
Let's go.
McAfee announced today that during his live show that he missed Raw due to the loss of his father-in-law. My
Damn.
father-in-law passed away unexpectedly after the show ended yesterday in a hospital here in Indianapolis, Indiana. He'd been in the hospital fighting an infection, and on Friday we were told he was probably going to be discharged on Sunday, and they had figured it out. We had high hopes, and then yesterday, as the show was ending, my wife calls me and I have to get to the hospital because there was an emergency. McAfee continued the heartbreaking story by stating, I head over there, what my wife and her mom and her aunt saw go on was her dad being a badass and trying to kick ass and losing his fight in this particular day. Whenever something blindsides an entire family, it can be devastating. My wife is a
Again.
daddy's girl. Last night was obviously a difficult night for our family, and it was a nice reminder. Thankfully, my wife and her mom and her dad, the last things they said, Bob, who was a great man, was, I love you. I feel this was a nice piece of perspective and a nice moment to tell someone you love them. And we also offer our condolences to the McAfee family during this difficult time. Next up,
But RIP the family members, but Pat McAfee is not from the pro wrestling freaking clout. He was sportscaster everywhere else. I don't see how that's news to professional wrestling. Like I care about things inside his bubble. Pat McAfee is not from the bubble. Just
is
saying.
Mandy Rose AEW bound. And Mandy Rose
Woo!
had an incredibly controversial exit from WWE.
She
Rose was
did.
released from the company for posting adult content on a private site, and since then, Rose has been quiet when it comes to her pro wrestling ventures. Speaking on a Power Alphas podcast, Rose answered questions from fans and she was asked about potentially going to AEW. Rose stated that she's undecided if she wants to return to the squared circle, but she has urged fans to never say never when it comes to her potentially wrestling again. Rose had a ton of talent in the ring, and she was in the midst of an extended NXT Women's title run
Yes,
before
she
her abrupt
was.
release.
Yes, she
If she does
was.
indeed return to wrestling, then either WWE or AEW would be a great fit. But of course, a WWE comeback would depend on where WWE currently stand on Rose's adult-themed ventures. Next up is Dominic Mysterio, a
Okay, I feel like this is the Triple H era is new, a whole new era. I think he's letting people jump on their. He's letting the wrestlers have Twitch accounts. Everybody's going back to game streaming. Their Triple H really isn't tripping about letting their intellectual property do freaking outside stuff, you know. And it wasn't like Mandy. It wasn't like she was naked on those things or anything. She was just trying to get some bread. Because if you ask me, these wrestlers are not being paid well, right? A lot of them, because I don't think they're trying to make another John Cena. They're not. Too much creative control, too much money, right? I feel like they're really they. That's why they really tapped into the indie talent. It's because they want people that this is their freaking dream to get to WWE. This is their freaking dream, and I feel like they're working. They're taking a pay cut because they're living their dream, right? And I feel like the first 2 years they're doing that, and then once they're stable, right? Stable roster members, they start getting paid a little more. But I feel like this new era, they're not going to really be taking care of freaking Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and everybody. So I see a freaking run in AEW for them. I think like cats like Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, they've worked all over the world. If anything, the WWE style's saving their bodies right now. Because don't get me wrong, they're having good matches, right? But then they're having an El Generico match is different than a Sami Zayn match. Uh, I freaking I straight up partied with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at the Gathering. They kicked it at my campsite. I mean, way before WWE, of course, but those are two guys I never thought would be in WWE. I thought Kevin Owens was too fat, and then El Generico was too small, right? And I've just seen them on indies for so long, having great matches. Don't get me wrong, having great matches. I'm proud, and I remember not this WrestleMania, but the last one in LA when they won the freaking tag titles from the Usos. Hell of a moment, man. Freaking, a little tearjerker, bro. I cried during that shit. Here's two people that I thought would never make it to WWE. Now they're getting. Not only did they make it, but they're main eventing WrestleMania. Not only are they eventing WrestleMania, but they're winning the tag titles. Not only that, they've traveled the whole world together, and all of them. I mean, I named everybody before. All of them have had freaking. They can wrestle any style. They've been to Japan. They can wrestle lucha. A lot of these so-called WWE workers that have been bred through like NXT and WWE, I don't think they can go toe to toe with a lot of people from Japan. I don't think they can go toe to toe with people from Mexico. Seth Rollins can, Kevin Owens can, Sami Zayn can, and I think that's why they're not getting as hurt as everybody else is.
future world champion. Since turning heel in 2022, Dominic Mysterio has delivered some of the finest work of his entire
Yeah, he
career.
has.
Mysterio is arguably the most detestable heel in WWE, and Mysterio's legendary father, Rey Mysterio, believes that Dominic could be a future world champion. Speaking on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, this is what the WWE great had to say on the topic. Yeah,
All
most
right.
definitely. Dom is getting really good at what he's doing and he's understanding the craft. The
Yes,
fact
he
that
is.
he's where he's at with such little time, I could wish I could be there, or could have been there for 4 years of being in the business.
Damn.
Dom is currently in the midst of a popular storyline with Liv Morgan on the Raw brand, so he certainly has his hands full and doesn't appear to be focused on becoming world champion for the time being. With that
Bro, that whole thing with him and Liv Morgan had me freaking weak. Freaking Liv Morgan would comment on freaking Dominic's stuff with the heart emoji and whatnot. And so even freaking Dominique's freaking fiance would be commenting on his Instagram and shit. And Liv Morgan would come heart it and do little like side eye emojis. I love what they're doing with that right now. It's showing, and not only that, it's showing that it's helping them build character. It's helping not only dominate, but Liv Morgan build character too. Liv Morgan is freaking the next star, man. And I felt like she's just been held down for so long, but she stayed active. She hasn't really got hurt. Her longevity is there from the she was with Ruby Solo and what were they, the Riot Squad. She did a good, she was being held back a little bit there. There was a couple times where she should have won that women's championship, but she didn't. She just kept working, and I think and Dominic too, man. Dominic surprised me. I did not think he was a good worker at first. I thought like you can tell when somebody is not comfortable in the ring. You can tell when people are just going through the motions, right? You can tell there's only a select few people that are comfortable in that ring. Dominic, everything Dominic does now looks on point. So, but much respect to him, man.
That being said, could you see Dominic winning the world title in the future? Let us know in the
I
comments down
can.
below. Next up, does Rey Mysterio plan on retiring? Now, speaking of Rey Mysterio's interview with Chris Van Vliet, one of the main topics of discussion was Mysterio's retirement. Mysterio is turning 50 this year and he's already in the WWE Hall of Fame, yet Mysterio shows no signs of slowing down. In relation to when he plans on hanging up his boots for good, Mysterio revealed, "I don't think about it until it's being brought up, and when my wife brings that up, that's when I pause. I don't know if I want to do it in another 2 years, 3 years. I kind of listen to my body and my mindset, especially my mindset, because my body's been feeling great with all the benefits that I get from doing all the old
Yeah,
cold plunge and the sauna.
yeah.
Overall, my mind has to be in the right place, so that's probably the hardest thing for me, because sometimes
hmm
the age factor comes into my mind and not
Yes,
in the moment.
yes, it
I'm thinking
does.
ahead like I want to be able
Yes,
to
it
still move
does.
around and walk at 55 or 56. Is my body going to feel the same? I don't know. But when should Rey Mysterio retire? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up,
So I felt like, especially for I felt like when I was growing up, man, Rey Mysterio had a buzz. This is way before internet or anything. All the Chicanos were talking about Rey Mysterio, right? I started seeing at the flea market, San Jose flea market, I started seeing Rey Mysterio mask and VHS tapes of Rey Mysterio. I remember buying the VHS tapes of Rey Mysterio at the freaking way before he was in ECW, way before all that. I was seeing matches with him in Psychosis and were blown away, man. Juventud Guerrera, the Latin Lover, Super Calo, the Villanos matches. I've never seen that him do. I've never by the time I got this VHS tapes, people were doing high flying stuff. There was like RVD and Two Court Scorpio were in WCW for a little bit. That's the first time I ever seen somebody do a backflip. Two Court Scorpio was the first person I ever saw do a 450 splash. Uh, 1 2 3 Kid was kind of doing edgy stuff, backflips, front flips. Owen Hart, once in a while, you see him do a bunch of stuff, some edgy, high flying stuff. But Rey Mysterio blew everybody out the water, man. And then once he made it to ECW, right, I was just all like, damn, man, that boy's coming up, you know? And then I would always tell my friends too, hey, bro, you heard Rey Mysterio? Everybody's talking wrestling. Nobody knew who Rey Mysterio was. Nobody knew who Psychosis was. Nobody knew about ECW. But then, like, once, Ray went to ECW and got brought to WCW, that people were all like, "Hey man, how'd you know about that? Hey, I was dropping bombs on people, man." I feel like I've always, especially with everything, with like music and freaking wrestling, I've always been tapped in before it got mainstream. I couldn't settle for mainstream. I couldn't settle for when you're watching WWE and people say Hulk Hogan, that's my favorite wrestler. That's not your favorite wrestler. That's everybody's favorite wrestler. That's everybody's favorite wrestler. I had to dig deep. My like grasp for things couldn't be what everybody else was popular at the time. I had to dig deeper. And then especially when WWE went into the PG era, when I started watching Ring of Honor, freaking CZW, Michinoku Pro, I started getting tapped into Japan more. I started tapping in Texas had a lot of good freaking indies. Texas had a lot of good indies. There was so much great talent coming out of there at the time, and I knew about it before anybody did. I was freaking whatever money I had, I was spending buying freaking DVDs and VHS tapes.
is Penta WWE bound.
What?
One of the biggest stories of 2024 so far surfaced when Lucha Libre Online reported that AEW star Penta's contract is coming up between
Awesome.
August and September 2024. The report also stated that WWE will potentially be interested in the talented star. Penta was outright asked about the WWE rumors during an interview, and Penta had an interesting response to say the least. You know how information can be spread around on social media and how misinterpreted it can get?
They
I don't know how
can.
that information about my contract expiring leaked, but I prefer to focus on my present, and my present is currently with AEW. If any company like WWE wanted to offer me something, I would need to evaluate because there's a lot of interest on the way. It looks like the current AEW star is keeping his options open, and Penta's contractual status will no doubt be one of the more newsworthy contractual-based stories of the calendar year. Next up, did Goldberg want a Hall of
Uh, my thing is, man, are you gonna bring your brother Ray Phoenix with you, bro? Come on. So I think Penta, I think he has a great career in front of him, but I feel like he still has a lot of matches he needs to get done in AEW. I feel like the style that he works is not going to be appreciated in WWF. Y'all remember when Mystico freaking moved to WWF? Nobody knew how to work with him. You can't. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Penta, he's actually adapted very well to the American style, mixing in America with Lucha Libre. Um, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that might not have been the case, but it seems like the hybrid transformation of American, Lucha, and Mexican is the actual style now that people are wrestling. And so maybe like Mystico would have good matches with CM Punk and Chavo Guerrero Jr., but he had a lot of bad matches. And a lot of those bad matches were basically with WWE homegrown talent that came up with developmental and now they're in WWE. They just didn't know how to work with them.
Fame induction? We all know that Goldberg has some unusual takes on pro wrestling, and in his latest interview with Busted Open Radio, Goldberg
Mhm.
discussed his Hall of Fame induction. In a rather humble moment, Goldberg stated that he felt guilty for accepting the Hall of Fame nod. There's so much of a responsibility on a night like that. I didn't have as much fun as I should have had because I never really lived in the moment. For so many people who have dedicated their lives to the craft, I will always forever feel guilty that I get any accolade. While Goldberg is somewhat of a controversial name, there's no debate surrounding his Hall of Fame status. He's one of the
Okay.
biggest names in pro wrestling history, and he's 100% deserved his WWE Hall of Fame induction. His recently former
Hold
WWE
on.
name
100% deserved. Come on, WrestleMania. He dropped Undertaker on his freaking head. See, Goldberg did a A&E documentary, right? And I remember just thinking, like, how much training this guy has, and to have him straight up e- expose that he had very little to no training. He should not have been in the ring with freaking amazing workers. Freaking Goldberg, he kicked. Not only did he almost paralyze the Undertaker, he kicked Bret Hart in the freaking face and freaking ended his career. Well deserved. I don't think so.
returning to wrestling. Our final story today takes a look at the possibility of a former WWE name returning to the squared
Oh
circle.
yeah.
Since her WWE release, Lacey Evans has virtually disappeared from the wrestling world. However, the former main roster star seems to be interested in returning to wrestling in
Oh
some
yeah.
capacity. Speaking with Carla Peruzzo, Evans was asked about potentially returning to wrestling.
Hey, bruh. She did a freaking interview where she said that she's not about wrestling. She was never a fan. Her passion wasn't wrestling. A lot of wrestling fans gave her a lot of heat for that. If she does come back, she's gonna be a major heel. But I think she gets the Ronda Rousey treatment because Ronda Rousey spoke crazy about professional wrestling too. You know, there's stars out there that have been freaking on the indie scene, female talent that have freaking grown up in this business. And Lacey Evans does not care about this business. Why is she getting all these shots?
And this is what she had to say. Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't my passion, but I love the hard-hitting action. If there's a company out there that will bring me in to kick ass and
It wasn't her passion.
get my ass kicked, that's great. But right now we are focused on a lot. We have a lot of investment properties. We
Okay.
invested from all the blessings that WWE's given us. We have a construction company. My husband's a general contractor, which we ran prior to WWE. So we do a lot. We also teach our kids work ethic. We have Airbnbs, we have properties, we have a cafe named after our girls. I homeschool, I take that all very, very seriously. Evans had numerous pushes in WWE and each one failed to catch fire. Evans had a decent character and
You know why, bruh? She had good matches, but she also had really bad matches, right? I kind of think the same thing about Sasha Banks. She had good matches, but she had really bad matches. And for a lot of people that don't know, there's a difference between being a great athlete and a great worker. Lacey Evans, Sasha Banks, great athletes, but being an actual worker is translating what you do with wrestling and athleticism, but being able to tell a story and translating properly to the fans and to the TV, your art form, right? The only good matches Lacey Evans and Sasha Banks had were against great workers, great people to lead that match. Same thing with Ronda Rousey, bro. She was only as good as the person she was wrestling.
promo work, but it was always clear that wrestling wasn't her true passion, and she's admitted this in numerous interviews since her WWE departure. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling
Wrestling,
content.
yeah. All right, bro. Let's step back over really fast. So I don't think WrestleMania should be wasting time on Pat McAfee or freaking Lacey Evans. There's so much other stuff going on in professional wrestling right now. There's so many other federations going on. They should not be wasting time on people that aren't 100% about this freaking business. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. The fact that Sexy Red it makes wrestling news is something I never thought I'd see. The fact that freaking football and baseball is being promoted on SmackDown is something I never thought I'd see. I don't like it. I don't. Vince would never let that happen. All that shit's new. Promoting freaking Prime in the middle of the ring. Vince would never promote somebody else's brand on his brand. Why would you do that? That's where a lot of all these corporate heads now they control WWE. If you notice, freaking all Vince's boys, they started firing everybody. People that worked for the company for freaking decades are getting booted left and right. Bruce Pritchard, you better watch your ass, bro. They're coming for you next, bro. Seeing Bruce Pritchard come out during WrestleMania was crazy. Like, I like how Triple H got a great thing going. I like the way the product's going. I may not like the way all the freaking outside entities are being pushed in and being forced on top of wrestling fans, but it's business. I'm still tapped in. I like what AEW is doing, but AEW don't really got the camera angles that I freaking would prefer, on professional wrestling. I hate when they freaking I'll rant about this. I hate, right, the way AEW films their wrestling. Love the product, but I just hate the camera angles. Watching when somebody gets up, jumps up for a freaking body slam or something, they show when a wrestler posts on their thigh to get the push up, or they show the wrestler jump up at the wrong angle to the point where you see them. It should be shot from the other angle where you don't see too much of the spring and you don't see too much of the post. WWE, like Vince never let that happen. WWE, you never see stuff like that. You never, because they hide it. AEW, I feel like they're not really protecting the business too much, And not like I'll stand by what I said. AEW does not care about their workers, man. Go out there and freaking murder yourself in a freaking barbed wire match, knowing that freaking Edge is in his 50s. Edge is an old man. Letting them go out there in barbed wire matches, jumping off cages. Don't get me wrong, entertaining as hell. But I want to see. I'm so tapped in. There's only a select few stars left in professional wrestling. MJF is a star. Daniel Bryan, great worker, has great matches, but he's not a star, right? Seth Rollins is a star. Roman Reigns, star. Even freaking like like I tapped in with Finn Balor. I spoke on Finn Balor. He just looks like everybody else. Great worker, man. Great worker. Did great things, right? But the way he moves and the way he freaking his moveset, it just and he doesn't really translate well to the TV. Damian Priest is the same way. Dominic translates really well, but and who else? Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens aren't stars. Great workers, great athletes, but they're not stars. Edge is a star. Christian is a star. Um, there's not that many. Chris Jericho, star, right? There's not that much star power going on. And then when I say star power, I meant like a movie star, somebody that translates really well from the camera to the live crowd to the camera, and they just got that. They got that something to them. They got that it factor. A lot of people don't got it. A lot of people aren't translating very well. But it ain't like the freaking Attitude Era where everybody had the it factor, and they had something going on with everybody. It seemed like everybody had the it factor. It's not. That's something you're not born. You can't be born with, man. That's something that has to evolve inside you, right? Yeah, I guess the it factor is kind of you got to be born with it to an extent. But there's people with the it factor that can't wrestle. LA Knight, bro. Don't get me wrong. LA Knight's a great freaking athlete, and he has star power too. But for the amount of freaking training he's had and the amount of indie work he's had, he's not translating very well whatsoever. He's another one that has great matches with some people and not so great matches with other people. I'd like to see him. What I'd like to see from him, he has to transform his whole style. He has to transform his whole style, his whole gimmick. He has to get into that feud that will take him to the next level. That match he had was it with John Cena? He had a match at WrestleMania with. It was just basic, and it didn't bring him to that next level. He needs that feud. He needs that right star, the right OG that'll bring him to that next level. But he's if he did have those matches to get him to the next level, he didn't get there. It just didn't work out for him. And I'd love to see Elliot I do. And then his style kind of doesn't really mix with everybody in the freaking that upper level. I feel like it's not very his style isn't very transparent with it's either it's not transparent or he can't evolve his style to other workers. Seems like he's having the same matches. Cats like Roman Reigns, his style changes with each one of his matches. Probably because he's only wrestling 5 times a year. But that's a true worker right there. That's somebody that can capture an audience, and his match with everybody is different. It seems like LA Knights, Finn Balor, it seems like all his matches are all their matches are the same. Each one is the same. And so let's see what else can I tap in with you guys here. So we chopped it up about some wrestling. How about? I mean, there's a lot of shit going down in Oakland right now. Y'all want to tap in? Let's see. Let's watch the news. It would not be the same if I didn't tap in with the news here.
In another blow to Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, another member of her team is out. One day after making her first public comment since her home was raided by the FBI, her communications chief, Francis Zamora, announced his resignation.
Bruh, so if y'all didn't know, our freaking mayor is freaking getting caught up in a freaking scandal right now. They raided her freaking house. There's not really anything really info being dropped about why this is all going on, but she's definitely stealing money. There's definitely the money that's being pushed into the city definitely isn't fixing these roads. The police, they're not. There isn't really any police out here. I don't free. If I were call 911 right now, I'll get a voicemail. I don't see that anywhere else. Like the city is not being taken care of. So that money that's supposed to be going to the city is not going to the city.
Today, and this comes after 9 months on the job, and again a day after Tao's recently hired criminal defense attorney Anthony Brass withdrew as her lawyer. In a statement, Zamora said, "I resign my position as chief of communications. I thank my colleagues for their professionalism and dedication. It was an honor to serve the city of Oakland beside them."
I'm sure the honor to take
Mayor
our
Tao
money.
responded by thanking Zamora for being a valuable team member, and we're learning more about that raid on the mayor's
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for keeping your mouth shut and not exposing everybody. I'm sure you got cashed out more than enough. Thank you.
home, 2 other homes, and the Office of California Waste Solutions, the city's recycling company. KRON 4's Teresa Stasio talked to a former U.S. attorney about what happens behind the scenes, and she joins
All
us
right,
from the
let's hear
newsroom
it.
with more. Teresa?
Well,
Let's hear
Catherine,
it.
dozens of boxes as well as envelopes and bags were removed from Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao's
I'm
home
sure.
Thursday. Speaking with me during KRON 4 News at noon, former U.S. Attorney Winston Chan explaining the government must be far along in their case to
Damn.
conduct such a public raid. Chan, who worked at the U.S.
Damn.
Attorney's Office in New York, says agents were granted access to look for specific items and identified an inventory list given to Sheng. That list shared with the mayor and or her partner, Andre Jones, who shares the home. Chan says that the warrant is based on agents believing a crime has occurred and that evidence will be found.
They've reached some point in their investigation that it made sense for them to become public. So generally speaking, what that would mean is they spent a lot of time up until now working undercover, working in secret to try to figure out if the allegations that they have suspicions about were true. And so now that they have whatever they've obtained from the home, they're trying to match that up with what information they have, trying to corroborate other sources, and seeing if things like the devices, the phones, the laptops, whatever papers they took, corroborate the information that they had to begin with.
Mayor Tao has said publicly that her former attorney said she was not the target of the investigation, but sources tell KRON 4 News it is too soon to say that, and it could mean that she is not the target yet. Also, there were 3 other places raided with extensive work underway looking over those confiscated items as well. Former U.S. Attorney Chan says it will probably be a while before we know the outcome of these raids, whether the evidence they are seeking they discovered, and whether this could become an indictment with federal crimes involved. Reporting in the newsroom, Teresa Stasio, back to you.
All right.
Bro, there was always talk.
Today, Tony Brass, the attorney who signed on to
There was always talk about freaking like corruption in politics and whatnot, but seeing it's crazy, man. Oh my God, bro. Our mayor is in a freaking house was raided. The Oakland mayor, bro. Come on, Kala, damn. Who's in this chat? I'm not human. What's up, bro? You know I'm back at it, bro. You know I'm back at it. It's so freaking. The thing of the truth, bro. It's so hard to stay the freaking. I got so much going on with my life right now. It's so hard to sit here and dedicate myself to a stream like this. I mean, we just did what I've been on for freaking almost 2 hours. We covered AEW. I was late on the AEW recap. That was dope. There's so much dope shit going on in pro wrestling. There's freaking. I'm working nonstop. I'm working out a lot more. I got cats running the lake with me. I got cats taking me to the gym. There's so much going on with my life. It's hard to sit here and freaking have time to spend 2 or 3 hours freaking dedicated on the stream, bruh. But I love. But hey, bruh, I am not human. Just for you, man. I'm gonna start coming back more. I'm gonna start tapping in with y'all more, man. Because freaking this is very therapeutic. Because I felt like I live life like I swear to God, I came back from WrestleMania. I went straight to work. I came back from AEW in Vegas. I went straight to work. What else? I came back from my birthday weekend. Went straight to work. I feel like I don't really have time to really kind of really tune in everything that's happened until I do one of these streams. You know, it's crazy. I gotta appreciate, dude. I think there's a good reason why a lot of people don't like me. It's because I freaking live a lit ass life, man. Well, and I said it before and I'll say it again. I would hate me too. I would. All right, let's. Y'all want to tap into some more news? Let's see what else is going on in the world. La la la. Oh, how about the Oakland budget?
And more hardships for the city of Oakland. While the
Let's
mayor
go.
continues to face questions about why the FBI raided her home, now this, an enormous budget shortfall threatening large cuts to many programs, including fire and the police department. Prom 4's Teresa Estacio has been diving into the details of this story for us and joins us live in the studio now for the latest details on this, Teresa.
Bruh, I love Oakland, but it's a shithole. There's money. The money is not going to the city. The money is not going to the city. These streets are freaking not being taken care of. There's freaking, every time I walk out there, every time I walk up and down the street, these trash cans are not getting filled. They're overflowing. The city's not doing its part whatsoever. And the fact that they're talking about more budget cuts, but what are they cutting? This money is being stolen. There's they've the city has taken so much money away, not being invested back into the city, that we're about to go bankrupt.
Stephanie, city leaders say that they are working extra hours to try and fix this enormous problem, but admit that these are very challenging times for Oakland. The council is hoping the sale of the Coliseum will help stave off some of the most severe cuts. But
Hey, I am not human, bro. That doing a stream like that would be awesome. I would have doing a live, doing a like not even Ice Poseidon, any kind of stream like that, where you could put me in a room for 48 hours with a bunch of other people. I'd have so much fun just messing with people and like just freaking trolling them. I think I'd be great. Give me some of that money.
those proceeds won't come for a while. Currently, the city is facing a multi-million-dollar shortfall. Council member
Wow, I wonder where that money
letter
went.
to the city administrator, and mayor said that the deficit is around $177 million in the general purpose fund. The bulk of that fund, about 63%,
Hey,
goes to
hey, bro, I live down there. Bro, I live like a block. I live like a block away from there. That's the freaking Fox Theater right there. Look at that street. You can see the freaking holes in the ground and everything, bro. This street is not being taken care of.
public safety, such as paying for police and fire personnel. Councilmember Reed says that one of the options the city is looking at to balance a $2.2 billion budget would be to cut $63 million, which would affect many programs as well as staff positions. There's also the threat of losing police academies or rotate closing down fire stations in the fall. I spoke with Councilmember Dan Kalb just a short.
Bro, they already closed down 3 fire stations. How many? I don't think we have. I don't think we have 5 of them. Like, like I said earlier, if you call 911, you're getting a busy signal out here. We're not being taken care of. This city is not being taken care of properly, and it never has. If you ask me, this money's been freaking taken away from the city for years. I mean, it's crazy that everybody wants to say, the politicians are corrupt, and it's always been like just a speculation, purely speculation. But just to see this is crazy.
Short time ago.
This is the most dramatically horrible budget situation we've been in my
I'm
entire time
sure.
in the council, and maybe for decades. But we can't complain about whatever happened in the past. We have to deal with this now. Part of the budget deficit, the challenge we have, is a structural one, an ongoing one, and other parts are more kind of happen just in recent couple of years. Regardless, we still have to deal with it. There's no choice in the matter. All the options we have on the table are bad options. There are no good choices here. There are no great, oh, here's a great idea.
I'm not human in the chat says, damn, it looks like it could be nice. You know what? It is a nice place. I love it. I love Oakland. I love the griminess. I love the freaking potholes. I love freaking all the people whacked out, yelling, screaming. Um, I couldn't live somewhere where freaking people are just normal. I feel like when I go to like LA or freaking Orinda or Livermore or Pleasanton and some of these suburbs, I get looked at crazy. It feels good to just be one, just because out here, man, it's so different out here. If you look like you got some money, you're getting robbed. If you're walking around with your phone out, you're getting robbed. Only the strong survive out here, man. I've been got out here. It happens to everybody. Am I scared to die? Nope. Because if you, like I said before, if you're scared to die out here, that's when something's gonna happen to you. You need to be freaked, but you do. You definitely gotta watch your back out here. You definitely gotta freaking be aware of your surroundings. There's not a day that goes by that I turn around and see somebody and they just go the other way. You seriously have to be aware. Like I'm freaking well aware of my surroundings. I tap in with the steps that I'm hearing. I know all the cars that normally park in this area. Keeping an eye out for license plates, making sure cars have license plates. Bro, some of the cars out here are barely freaking holding on. They don't have bumpers. They don't have freaking. You see people running around with freaking the windows all blown out. I'm just like, bro, this isn't legal. Like anywhere else, these people would be pulled over. Out here, it's a lot different.
There aren't any great choices here. There'll be cuts. Some of those cuts will be temporary cuts, like we'll freeze a position or several positions for a year. Some of those cuts will be absolute deletions.
Mayor Sheng Tao releasing a newsletter that included a statement on the budget. It reads, quote,
Oh, now she wants to speak up. Bro, look at her, man. They've been talking about recalling her a long time. The city of the people of Oakland have told her that she's been corrupt and knew that of this corruption, man. I've never seen a city so passionate about getting somebody recalled as they do her. I didn't know why for a long time. But like you said, it's all speculation till it hits the fan.
I will remain focused on supporting the city council this week as they vote to pass a balanced budget. We will complete the transaction for the sale of the Coliseum property to the African American Sports Entertainment Group, and we will continue to address crime head on, end quote. This all
But even when they do sell the stadium, it doesn't matter. We lost all our sports teams. But even when they do sell the stadium, they're not going to be able to see that money for a while. And the sale of that stadium is not going to cover the deficit. And we're already freaking this city's already not being taken care of. So what are we really losing?
comes to a head on Friday. That is the next budget meeting for the council, where hard decisions will have to be made. The council is planning on the sale of the Coliseum to help ward off some of the most severe cuts, but the money isn't there yet. The budget must be approved by July 1st, the start of the next fiscal year. Reporting in the newsroom, Teresa Stasio, back to you.
Yeah, sure to.
I'm sure.
They also appeared at a regularly scheduled regional meeting today.
I'm sure. Yeah, man, the city of Oakland, things I can't tell if things are getting better or worse. I mean, they just had a big old freaking awesome freaking kickback at Lake Merritt for freaking Juneteenth. Freaking, I'll speak on that, man. Juneteenth was dope out here. All the homies are hitting me up. Hey, bro, come over and kick it. Hey, we're over here at this lake. So freaking, while I'm running the lake, right, I'm kicking it with freaking. I kicked it with fucking 6 or 7 different heads. Pause. That were freaking all the homies. Right, catching up with everybody, seeing people I ain't seen in a while. The only real problem was everybody was trying to feed me, but I'm still on my freaking. I can't really eat like that like I used to, bro. I think legitly we did the 75 hard stream since the beginning of this year. I lost freaking 51 pounds, bro. That's crazy. And if okay, let's bring it back to that, man. I feel like I'm spiritually at a level to where I'm unfuckable because nobody can freak. I swear, bro. Especially when you get your life together, you start investing in yourself. People that aren't freaking right in their souls and their mind will take any low blow they can to freaking get you, to downplay you, The freaking the stories I hear people say about me are untrue. These narratives people paint about me are untrue. And when I call them on it, right, they they say sorry. None of them can fuck with me when it comes to head on conversation. They have to chat. They have to, and it's always been like that, right? Always been like that. But I feel like the past 6 months has been a real interesting times for just my dealings with everyday people. It's like I catch people, and then you almost got to put a boundary up with people. You almost got to know where people stand, right? But I have a freaking idealistic that karma will freaking take care of whatever battles I gotta fight. Cause I ain't freaking out there freaking starting this shit. I don't start shit unless it started with me. But now I don't even freaking the more if you put life into something, it's gonna evolve. It's like a fungus, right? If somebody's talking head about me, right, and I address it with that same energy, then the fungus grows, right? I don't have that energy in me anymore to even freaking waste time with people like this. My whole life has changed. It's been a freaking great life change for me, bruh. People don't like it. But let's see, I am not human. You're back at it, bruh. Damn. Let's see. I am not human in the chat. Let's see what he got to say. Damn, that's dope, bro. Not gonna lie, I gained. I weigh 151 since high school. You're at 181, bruh. You know what? You know what it really is. I am not human. You got a great soul on you, right? Straight up. Let's be tapping this up in here. Blah blah blah. Where am I at? All right, that's all ready. Gotta make sure these. So I'm not human. I'm gonna freaking spit some game to you, bro. Since you're in the chat, you're kicking it with us, right? Um, you got a great soul on you, homie. I suggest freaking. You gotta find that inner freaking something that's in you, man. You gotta find that inner freaking peace to freaking make you want to do better, bro. There's a lot of demons in the world, man, that are gonna freaking try to freaking get you off your game, man. A lot of freaking entities that want to see you fail, right? You gotta want better for yourself, bro. You gotta want better for the people around you. Anybody that freaking taps in with you in any sense, in any form, you gotta want that, man. You gotta sit there and really kind of think about your life and your future and what the future holds for you, man. You gotta seriously want to change. You gotta seriously want better for yourself, and anybody could say it, right? Anybody could say they want better for themselves, right? But to actually freaking be able to freaking feel it, you know, and then I'll put the chat up so you guys can see I'm not human, right there. To be able to freaking want better, bruh. Let's see. I am not human. Yeah, we're gonna spend some time with you right now. I am not human. This is gonna be a great therapy session with us. Let's see. What's up in the chat? The chat's fucking up. Hold on. Let me flip this back over. Let me tap into this really fast. See if I can figure this out. La 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 la. Go over here. Tap back in here. Well, the chat's kind of fucked up. I'm not human. Said I've been fucked up so many times, man. That's why I'm a loner. I don't have no friends. I go weeks and weeks without leaving my house, just being alone. I feel that, bro. Cause I don't like people either. Tell you the truth, like I've in the loner phase. I think I've transitioned into that, right? But I feel like I can never really pigeonhole myself because I've always got people calling me, wanting to chill, chopping it up with me. I feel like I talk to my uncle pretty regularly. I talk to my cousins pretty regularly. Um, but I don't really need that freaking. I've wasted so much time on stupid people. I put so much energy into people. It makes me fucking sick how much freaking time I've wasted on people. and whatnot. I'm not human. You need to want better for yourself. You gotta really want. I suggest freaking it's basic workouts. I say get yourself a weight set, set the weights, right? Or maybe you need a spiritual cleansing, or maybe you're happy the way you are. Don't listen to me. You know what I mean? Don't listen to me. But I've been there. I've been there. I've had so many freaking energy vampires freaking poking at me. They just started trouble for me, so they can get me on their level, right? It took me it took me a lot of soul searching, right? And it took me like my brain too, right? My brain was saying, you're too tired, don't work out today. You're too tired, don't go on a run today. That's it. You freaking just worked freaking 45 hours this week. You need to take some time off. You don't want to cook, order a pizza, right? But I'm so fucking stubborn. I don't even want to listen to myself. That's what it took. That's what it took to get in your brain where you needed to be to freaking bring yourself out there, put yourself out there, want better for yourself, want to do things better for yourself. I swear to God, sometimes I sit there and I look in the mirror for like 30 minutes, right? I still got a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. I still got a long way to go, but I don't think I'm at a weight right now that I haven't weighed since high school. Real spit. There's, and I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago, but but you can't even think like that. You can't think past, right? You gotta think straight ahead. You gotta think, okay, this is where I am, right? And I felt like I have always held myself to everybody else's standards but my own, right? I took a look at everybody I went to school with. They're freaking doing so much better than me, right? But then you gotta kind of see it from a different glance. There's a lot of people that are not doing as good as me either. It's I can't even count how many times I run into somebody in the street, right? Like a freaking homeless person or something, somebody that looks like a junkie, and they're flagging me down, and I'm just like, oh, I've got no money, but it's actually somebody that I've met, but they've transformed. Their soul is not the person I met years ago. I barely recognize them. And then I'll chop it up. Don't get me wrong. I don't judge. I'll chop it up here and there, whatnot. But most of the time, I mean, I get freaking, I can't even count how many times I get a message from somebody and they want to chop it up, right? And I'm like, oh, hey, people are reaching out. Oh, it's cool. And then before you know it, it's freaking, they want me to send them money. It's like, God damn, why do I have to go there? I'm not like, but don't get me wrong. I get those people that come through that do want to chop it up, that just want to see how I am, you know. But it's very far and in between. It seems, especially with there's people that I thought would always be there, you know. All of a sudden, you change your life, you start investing in yourself. It's crazy how those interactions kind of fade, you know. And I'm just happy. I'm happy with myself, to tell you the truth. I've freaking been to WrestleManias. I'm freaking going to Japan in January for Wrestle Kingdom. You got to build your brand of who you are, right? To be happy with yourself. You got to be able to look in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm doing better. I did better for myself today. Every day has to be freaking a little better. You don't have to do a lot better, just a little better. Just a little better. Because freaking anybody, anybody can sit there and be depressed all day. Anybody can sit there and freaking make excuses for themselves. That's easy. Anybody can do that. But it takes a real unique, strong individual that's been through some shit to lift themselves up, to pick themselves up, even when it's not worth it, even when it's not even benefiting anybody, even when it's not even benefiting you. Pick yourself up anyway. For what reason? It gets to a point for no reason whatsoever. You're gonna pick yourself up today. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna be productive. You're gonna build yourself in the right direction for no reason whatsoever, and that's the reason to do it. I'm not human. That's deep, bro. It really is, bro. Hey, I'm not human. Thanks for coming through and kicking it, man. You a real one you're a real one for real, motherfucker. But I believe in you. I am not human. I believe you can do great things, bro. You got a great personality. You're funny. You're witty. Freaking, I've seen your live streams, man. You got great personality too. You got a great soul to you. You know what I mean? But it's you can't let these outside entities, you know what I mean, suck your fucking soul dry. I did it for too long. I did it for way too long. Like, it's crazy. Like when people meet me now, they know something's different about me. They can't say what, and it goes one or two ways. It's either they back off from it, or they sit there and they wanna chop it up, right? And like freaking, I was at work. I had just clocked out for work. I was at work for 10 hours. This happened like last week, right? The boy Davey, the homeboy that y'all said Davey on the birthday stream, he came through, right? Big wrestling fan. Big wrestling fan. I was shopping. I'm not even on the clock, right? I saw him. We started chopping it up. Bro, I ended up kicking it with this guy for 4 hours at my job, not even on the clock. Just chopping it up about wrestling. It was beautiful. See, it's individuals like that you got to keep in your life. You know, it's individuals like that. I got to be freaking. Hey, what are you doing for your birthday? You know, kicking it on your birthday, shopping. You know what are you doing this week? What are your days off? You know, and then you really got to pick. I really started to pick and choose who I'm gonna spend this birthday with, who I'm actually calling to say happy birthday to, or you know what I mean? You really, and it's building your own sanity and your own mentality to where you want it to be, you know, and only because your soul and your human spirit is the only thing the world cannot take from you unless you let them. You know, we're getting raped by tech. No, we're not gonna say that. I took that back. We're letting the government take taxes from us, right? We're letting Facebook and the government, you know, put into our mental mind state that there's wars going on overseas and we need to be freaking concerned about this to a point where you got people on the streets freaking closing down streets and protesting this and protesting that. It's crazy how everybody is so willing just to give their spirit and their soul to so many different entities that don't benefit them whatsoever. And I lost track of thought there. What was I actually saying? Oh, okay, got you. There's wars going on overseas, but there's wars going on in front of my house. If they're really concerned about these wars going on overseas, instead of jumping out here, closing down streets and protesting this and protesting that, fly yourself out there and be a part of the freaking movement. Try not to get shot and killed. If you think it's crazy out here, I think a lot of these people will benefit being on freaking the grounds to the things that they're actually protesting. But to tell you the truth, I don't even think half these people are 100% about what they're protesting about. It's all freaking mental. It's all, man, they can start a whole war. Yeah, hey, RIP Sika. Yeah, we did it. Hey, we did it. I ranted about Sika earlier. I'm not human. It was great. I ran freaking I've actually knew people that know him in the family and shit. And freaking I got an old coworker that freaking has pictures with Sika and Roman Reigns and all that, right? Not even a wrestling fan. Just freaking related to him. I called him up and sent my condolences. You know what I mean? The real tribal chief. You know, that's a lot of people dying. That's crazy. So many people are dying nowadays, bro. Hey, RIP Tim Vo. Tim freaking, I had another homie named. Hey, you know what's crazy is, check this out. A lot of people are dying from heart attacks. They're saying and it's sudden, bro. A lot of people are dying suddenly. They say they're feeling something in their chest. They go get it checked out. They fall into cardiac arrest. all of a sudden they're passing away. And I'm just, and it's, as far as we're talking, yeah, hey, bro, I did a good stream. I did a good, yeah, I'm Not Human. You're gonna have to go back and check it out. I did a good stream earlier, bro. I felt like I need to get more freaking camera time. You know, I feel like I need to say, I really stopped saying, you know what I mean, after everything. I need to stop saying like so much. But as we're gonna go back to the people are passing away, but I'm all for freaking like preserving somebody's memory, right? But when a real piece of shit dies, right, that doesn't take care of their kids with a straight up POS, and people are gonna come up and be like, "Oh, he was such a great soul. He lived such a great life." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, he didn't. He didn't. He did not. You know, if you lived a terrible life here, I'm not celebrating your death. I'm honoring that shit. One less POS we have in the world. Get me canceled for that. I don't give a fuck. But legit, like we lost a lot of great souls, bruh. So I had a homie named Tim Mo, right? Uh, Tim, like he passed away probably earlier this month. I was working a night shift and I got off around like 10:30, 10:45, and my phone kept blowing up. So Tim Vo was the old homie of my uncle, right? We'll do the I was thinking about doing an RIP Tim Vo stream. We'll do it right now. So him and my uncle were a part of a street crew, right? Or you want to call it a gang. It was basically like there's no real Norteño Sedano out here. It's all street blocks. They had a block. Everybody lived on the block, right? And they were all part of the crew. And I freaking Timbo was freaking this big ass comic book nerd, straight cholo, right? But loved comic books. So he started later in his life. He started a comic book podcast that was one of a kind, right? And he was doing that for years, right? But this is back late '80s, right? He was part of the street gang. My uncles, him, everybody in that crew. I talked about the homie Gilbert earlier that got me into ECW. He was part of that crew. They called it Videogram for VGF, right? And those cats had each other's backs. There were stabbings, shootings, drive-bys. The unity they had together formatted my whole life. Those were real homies, bruh. They had each other's backs. I've seen full-on brawls with them and other crews. Tim Vo, I remember the night Tim Vo got shot. That was freaking traumatic. So I start getting all these calls. Everybody's hit me up. Tim Vo passed away. Tim Vo passed away. How did it happen? Blah blah blah. And so him and all his freaking comic book podcast homies, what would they do? They would basically talk about comics and movies. They talk about prices of comics. He had a bomb ass podcast. I tune in all the time. And he's even jumped in the chat with a couple of my streams and chopped it up, you know. But freaking, he was a great soul, a real one, bruh. You know. And then they did a podcast honoring this fool's life, my homie Tavo, and the freaking quality of human being he is very rare. 100% rare, man. And he would even freaking hit me up on my freaking Instagram and Messenger and always chop it up with me, ask me how I'm doing, ask me what I'm into. You know what I mean? Always had feedback for me. I'd ask feedback about the podcasting. He'd give me feedback on that. Great soul we lost, man. Freaking tremendous soul. Uh, the Let's see. I'm Not Human is in the chat. Let's see what he got to say. Yeah, I felt that population control. I just feel like if you didn't live a good life on this earth, why should you be freaking celebrated? You know, why like why should you be honored? You know, if you're a POS, if you're and I see it too much. The people are like, oh yeah, You know, he get into this and he get into that, but you know, we're still gonna miss him, blah blah blah. I'm just like, if you're not 100% productively trying to spiritually lift others and you're just dragging people down, how and there's too many people like that. There's I can only name so many people that are spiritually uplifting people that I know. It seems like everybody's stuck in this depression hole, right? They got this little pigeonhole where they could be inspiring the world. Next time you're sitting there depressed, pull yourself out of that shit. It's like a light switch. Turn it off. Turn it on. It has to be like that. Because that's the depression, all that shit. That's the fucking devil trying to freaking feed off your soul. Fight back, bruh. Don't be. Everybody's victimizing themselves these days. Don't be a victim. I said the same thing for a long time. I didn't get the same freaking opportunities everybody else did because I'm different. Because I didn't suck up. I didn't do this. I should have got that. I should have got this. I was victimizing myself, and I was wasting my time doing that. I got tired of victimizing myself, bro. But it's time. I wanted a better life, you know. And when you're doing that, it's not in the path that this world wants you on. You're gonna be living outside the bubble, so it's gonna be a lot harder for you to formulate your brain. You know, I talk to many people about things I can do to freaking better my freaking well being, and somebody suggests freaking go without your phone for freaking a week. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I might have to. I think I might have to because freaking do we really need our phones? And then once you get to the politics of that, does like computers and streaming count too? Hmm. Maybe the second week of July, I'll go without my phone for a whole week. And maybe I'll just stream. Since I can't have my phone, I'll just stream. But I started wanting to do things like that. Like, okay, that why would somebody do that? Why would somebody legitimately go without their phone? Why not? Let's do it. You know? Why? Like, it's so dumb. Why not do it? You know? Why not? So, what should we do? I kind of want to watch wrestling. For everybody that came out, peep this, man. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for freaking. All right, let me peep. Let's see what we got. Oh, you know what? I got something for us. So there was this dude named Vietnam Tom that ran the streets of Oakland. This dude, freaking, I seen him smoking blunts and freaking blowing it in people's faces. This dude was nuts. And I forgot somebody. I could have swore I saw this dude. Right? He was outside kicking shit up in front of my work and everything. And then I just started doing freaking research on him to see what happened to him. And the only thing I could find about Vietnam Tom was this.
On February 15th of 2010, two men would board a bus in Oakland, California, headed across town. Neither of these men would make it to their destination as both would disembark early. One of these men would leave the bus with a knuckle sandwich and the other the status of soon.
All right, hold on. Let me fix my screen graph here. Like a freaking. Once I freaking dial in my freaking streaming, figure out freaking shortcuts of how to do all this, I feel like I'm gonna be freaking unfuckable. But for right now, I gotta figure this out. Bear with me while I figure this out. All right, looks like the chat's back. I got the chat figured out right now, and I'm gonna bust this out right here and get this video back over here. There has to be, you know what? Like, especially when I'm freaking trying to format these streams, I'm like, there has to be an easier way to do this. There just has to be. All right, there we go. I figured it out. Bow, bow, bow. We're back in business, motherfuckers.
To be internet legend. The incident I'm referring to is none other than the infamous Oakland bus fight video featuring an individual the internet has dubbed the Epic Beard Man.
I don't have all that attention. I'm just doing what's right.
The elderly Epic Beard Man Thomas Brusso became a world-renowned internet star thanks to a viral video showing him whooping some ass in a bus confrontation with a much younger man. The video portrayed Tom as this kick-ass old-timer who had no tolerance for BS, and while that's mostly true, this video only really scratches the surface of the insane day-to-day life of Thomas Brusso, aka the Epic Beard Man. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the man behind this living meme, Thomas Brusso, and chart his meteoric rise to internet fame and his depressing downfall. Before we get started, I want to thank 1440 for sponsoring today's video. 1440 is an easily digestible daily newsletter that cuts through all of the online clickbait BS and just gives you important news in an unbiased way. In one concise 5-minute read, you'll get stories from sports, science, politics, to finance. 1440 covers it all. When it comes to television,
that's the last thing I want.
To waste your time with commercials and blatant bias, and the online blogs can be just as bad. 1440 covers even the most controversial stories with a balanced perspective without bias that I've really come to appreciate. The newsletter is
I'm trying to see Vietnam Tom,
and I genuinely enjoy perusing through it when it hits my inbox, so give 1440 a shot. You guys can subscribe to 1440's newsletter by clicking my link below. That's join1440.com/WavyWebSurf. Subscribe today for free.
Alright, bro.
Let's get on to the video.
Goddamn
I want to begin by saying there is very little information known about Thomas Brusso's early life, and the stories that we do know come in the form of tall tales from Tom himself. And if what he has to say here is true, growing up for Tom was pretty crazy. Just hear him talk about it.
And I was crazy because I was a fighter. I was always beating up my teacher. By the time I was 12, I threw a fucking chair through the window in the principal's office. I knocked the shit out of the monitor.
Who hasn't done that?
Through the fucking glass window. And then I went to reform school for 11 months and 9 days. And then I got released, and I stayed out 6 months. And the next time I went to reform school, they sent me to state penitentiary in Wisconsin. And I went to the mental ward.
Hell yeah.
State mental hospital for
5150.
Now, after becoming an adult, Tom claims to have left his allegedly abusive parents and joined the military, stating he served in 1969 and served in Vietnam. He says this is where he got the nickname Vietnam Tom.
My name is Thomas Alexander Brusso, Tommy Slick in Chicago, Illinois.
Everyone's calling you Vietnam Tom.
Is that right?
Yeah, so did you serve in Vietnam?
I did.
Now, after serving in the military,
he did.
Tom claims that he moved to Chicago and became a pimp, making money in the city's criminal underworld. Beardman had the hose, apparently. Sometime in the 1980s or 1990s, Tom would move to California doing God knows what, but he reportedly got an apartment in Oakland, and his activities after this would be unknown for some time. But this relative anonymity would be stripped from Tom decades later in 2009 when he was introduced to the news media for the first time. In August of 2009, a video surfaced online showing a man being apprehended and subdued by police at an Oakland A's baseball game.
Hey, bro. So when I saw that on the news, when this fool went crazy at the A's game, I was just like, hey, that's the guy. Where everybody in Oakland has seen this guy. Everybody has a story of him freaking wilding out, acting out, tripping out.
This man was none other than Thomas Brusso. Brusso claims that he smoked a bowl of weed mixed with cocaine, got drunk off multiple bottles of alcohol,
I didn't know about all that.
This baseball game.
I pulled out my little pipe and I started smoking some weed. I said, what the fuck? Let's put some cocaine in there.
He was then sit at a seat that he didn't pay for, and when security approached the belligerent Brusso, a physical confrontation ensued, resulting in police arriving and unfortunately having to tase Brusso to subdue him. I think they probably could have gotten away with not tasing him, but anyways.
Next thing I know, the Oakland PD's every fucking where 12 of them tasing my ass in my back.
Now, this altercation resulted in Thomas being sent to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation because apparently he had a known history of mental illness and was allegedly bipolar. He would be released from the hospital after a short while. And this altercation was what planted Thomas Brusso into the public sphere for the first time. And the funny thing is, this event is really only a preamble to the major Thomas Brusso altercation that everyone knows about. As about 7 months later, Tom would find himself on camera again when he got into an altercation with a man on an Oakland City bus. Apparently, Tom was speaking with a stranger on this city bus when he started talking about this funeral he was attending in the near future. When he asked this stranger how much you charge for a spit shine of my Stacey Adams shoes.
Damn.
What? How much you charge me for my Stacey Adams? I'm going to the funeral.
Brother, this video of this altercation between this gentleman and the Epic Beard Man, I suggest they don't show it here because it's violent as hell, but I suggest you YouTube it, man. Vietnam Tom tears this fool apart. Like, his face was leaking. And I think the biggest meme that popped out of the situation was when the brother got fucking tore up by Vietnam Tom. Right? He's sitting there bleeding, and the lady recording it was all like, "Man, are you okay?" And then the guy was trying to say ambulance, call it ambulance, but he couldn't talk because his face was all busted. So he was like, "Call ambulance, call ambulance." And the way he said it was funny.
The man, feeling disrespected and interpreting the comment as a racist insult, responds, "Why a brother gotta spit shine your shoes?"
For real. For real.
This results in an
did.
argument with the two lobbing verbal threats back and forth.
I'm 67 years old. You ain't scared of me. You ain't scared of me. You ain't scared of me.
Damn. Yeah, he will.
Eventually, after some heated exchange, Tom moves away from the man and sits in the
Yeah, legit. To Vietnam Tom's freaking defense, he tried to de-escalate the situation and walk away. But the brother wanted more.
front of the bus. But the stranger follows Tom, pushing him, resulting in a fisticuffs brawl. One that Tom absolutely dominates in. After the fight, both men get off the bus.
But Vietnam Tom could have been in freaking MMA. The way the way his punches were freaking on point, man. He just went in on this fool. For that time span, I think a good fight with Vietnam Tom and Kimbo Slice would have been freaking gold.
The stranger's nose is bloodied, and Tom can be seen screaming and raging in the street, also kicking a signpost. After the altercation, Tom was eventually apprehended by police and taken to the hospital for a 72-hour psychiatric hold. The man who was bloodied in the fight by Tom would later be identified as Oakland resident Michael Levette. Levette did not press charges against Tom. The video of this crazy...
Hey, bro, what a G. Didn't even press charges. That's some Oakland shit right there. That's like the fact that he didn't press charges, didn't get the cops involved or anything. I give homie props. He took an ass kicking.
The altercation would soon be uploaded to YouTube, and it almost immediately went viral, getting millions of views. And one thing soon became clear after seeing the response to this video. Everyone supported Tom, and they were impressed by the fighting prowess displayed by the 62-year-old scrapper. It was a true display of giving zero fucks, and the legend of the Epic Beard Man was birthed with the publishing of this video. Mr. Levette was seen as the aggressor by most, and since he continued to approach Tom and pushed him, people saw Tom's retaliation as justified. In the aftermath of this brawl, freelance reporters tracked down both Tom and Michael Levette.
And they did.
Tom expressed that he had like no remorse for the events.
All of a sudden all the radio shows were freaking getting interviews with both of them. This was a big deal in Oakland.
And, well, Mr. Lovett admitted that he was intoxicated on the bus ride.
He was.
Giving their respective takes on the altercation.
What do you think about all of this?
Oh, it's a little overwhelming. I don't deserve all that attention. I'm just doing what's right. He was a murderer. I got a murderer off the streets. I feel good about that. He was wanted for murder. He did 18 years in the penitentiary. He's on parole. He's a parole violator. He's going to go back for 10 years for armed robbery, and, assault and battery, and possession of a knife while on parole. And theft. They stole my money and they stole my bag.
First of all, I would like to apologize to AC Transit and the public and everyone who was on that bus that day. because of the way that I conducted myself. I was a little bit intoxicated.
Okay.
And I also would like to
A little.
apologize to him because he's a veteran. My brother is also a veteran. And I apologize to him for the way I conducted myself by throwing the first punch.
Tom, in several interviews, is on YouTube claiming that he got a murderer off the street, that you've been to the pen for murder, and you're on parole right now.
Never. No, I'm not.
Okay.
That's not true.
As views of the bus fight video increased, so did the intrigue with the enigmatic Epic Beard Man. And when the bit got out that he was supposedly a Vietnam War vet, well, the badass caricature was solidified. The internet fans had to know more about him. Well, fortunately, the Epic Beard Man was relatively easy to find, as he could often be spotted wandering around the streets of participating in a variety of shenanigans, and was always eager to tell long-winded stories.
Yes,
Here
he
are a few
was.
examples.
Get your tickets early. I think they're all sold out. I think there's 65,000 sold. $1.50 a ticket. Seniors get in free. If you're homeless, you don't have to pay. Predicting the first round, 12 seconds. 89 punches in the fucking face. I'm gonna roll over him like a piece of shit, man. The 101st Airborne Unit, Sergeant E6. I got demoted 3 times for fucking punching lieutenants and captains. I can't take orders, man.
That's Mosswood Park right there.
She when I'm stoned out of my mind on crystal meth. And that heroin? Don't give me no motherfucking heroin, man. I am an expert in Kung Fu. I'm an expert in karate. I'm an expert in judo. I'm an expert in hand-to-hand combat. I'm an expert boxer. I'm an expert wrestler.
Listening to the stuff this guy says, it's almost hard to believe him, but you just want to, right? The fascination with this eccentric and boisterous man grew to a fever pitch by the summer of 2010, so much to the point that directors wanted to make movies based off of him. It's reported that in the summer of 2010, writer and director Craig Moss offered Thomas Brusso a contract for $6,000 for the exclusive rights to tell his story. According to a report by SF Weekly, this $6,000 offer was one that Tom accepted, burning through this money in about a week by buying weed and passing out money to his personal friends. This Craig Moss director guy would eventually go on to create a film called Badass starring Danny Trejo, which
Bro, I've never seen that movie. I gotta see it. If it's based off of freaking the Epic Beard Man, I gotta see this movie. I didn't even know they made a movie about him.
is loosely based off the Epic Beard Man and his bus fight incident. Emphasis on loosely. Really, the only similarity is that the main character has a beard, was a Vietnam vet, and got into a fight on a bus and went viral. Everything else is just totally made up.
Okay.
It's not good.
Now let's for a moment put the legend of the Epic Beard Man aside and look at the man behind this character, Thomas Brusso. Beneath the machismo and larger-than-life persona, there certainly is a guy here that has experienced a lot of hardship and struggles in his life.
Sure.
When you consider his pattern of psych ward visits, physical altercations, and other various erratic behaviors, I think it's fair to say that Tom is not the most well-adjusted individual. Likeable, yes, but he seems to really struggle with mental illness amongst other things. In fact, one of Tom's sisters has gone on record and made the claim that Tom's entire life story is just a complete fabricated delusion. A misrepresentation and fabrication of reality brought upon by Tom's unmedicated bipolar disorder. It's all a bunch of lies. If he has your attention, he can tell you all types of stories and
No, come on.
for that moment in time.
Come on, man.
She adds that her brother is bipolar and gets out of control because he refuses to take his meds. Quote, it's a delusional life he's living through this media glittery type attention.
I can see
The
that.
Weekly article also reports a claim from the sister stating that Tom never went to Vietnam and that he was never a pimp in Chicago. Now, it is important to note that this sister that gave all these...
Bro, I believe that he didn't go to Vietnam. But saying he wasn't a pimp in Chicago, come on. I'm going to need to see receipts on that.
statements chose to keep her name anonymous. So with that being the case, I think you should take this report with a grain of salt.
Yes, very much so.
Tom's proclivity for these tall tale type stories that he's often telling, I think it's something to think about. And with that said, this is where we get into the more depressing half of the story. By
My favorite.
2011, most of the viral hype surrounding the epic beard man would dwindle, and interviews featuring the beloved bearded brawler would cease. And unfortunately, what coincided with this drop in relevance was an increased level of instability in Tom's personal life. In mid-2011, it was being reported that Tom had been evicted from his Section 8 apartment, making him homeless at the age of 64. The reason for the eviction is unknown. From this point onward, the little structure holding Thomas Brusso's life together, his residence, was stripped away from him. He didn't have a place to stay. The last truly formal interview conducted with Thomas was filmed by documentarian Nathan Mass, and it paints a bleak picture for the epic beard man. Take a look.
I don't think anybody should be 64 years old in America and be homeless. I smell I haven't taken a shower in like 3 days, 4 days. You know, I can't help it. And I'm gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. I lost 67 pounds already. The store behind me, I'm not gonna name the name of it. Don't take the name of it. But I shoplift there when I'm hungry.
Unfortunately, there's never been any reporting indicating that Tom was ever able to find a new permanent residence, so it's presumed that he's still homeless or just couch surfing or in and out of homeless shelters. Occasional sightings of the epic beard man would still be recorded, but while he seemed in somewhat good spirits, it was clear that he wasn't doing well.
And a fucking free bedroom. All I gotta do is plank her once in a while. And
what?
Social Security come in, and when she go to sleep, I take 100 or 2 hits. When she wakes up broke in about 3 weeks, she ain't gonna even know who took it. Because I'm gonna keep her high on cocaine and crack.
Okay.
Vodka. You wanna make 600?
No, I'm married.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bring your husband.
It's okay, he's in the Navy.
I'm bisexual.
Oh.
I like big dicks.
Oh, okay.
The last and most recent recording of Thomas Brusso shows the man in a truly dire condition. Recorded October 2nd of 2014 by YouTuber Robbery211, the video shows Tom shoving gas station employees, speaking with an extremely hoarse voice, looking disheveled, and wandering.
It definitely looks like the 7-Eleven by Lake Merritt. That 7-Eleven's like freaking 5 blocks away from my pad.
Around in public, seemingly experiencing some sort of crisis.
Damn.
This World Star, bro. This World Star. Back up, G. Back up. Back up. Watch out, bro. You going crazy, bro. Watch out, bro. Back up, G. I already told you. Back the fuck up, bro. You tripping, bro.
You better cut. They calling 5 on you because you broke their door, bro.
Epic beer, man.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a bad motherfucker. You don't want to fuck with me.
You famous on YouTube already?
That's me, man.
Swear.
I swear I am.
The dude from the bus?
The bus fight, too.
You fought that guy in the bus, huh?
I beat his ass.
Damn.
I broke the fucking window. You see me break the window?
I see you.
You a savage.
You a sad dude.
Call the police. Call the police. I got robbed.
I'm telling you, hey, what you think about Danny Trejo did that badass movie?
Well, fuck Danny Trejo. He sucked, man.
There you have it.
Danny Trejo, you suck, Danny
Hey,
Trejo.
we just recorded your movie.
You can never play me, you motherfucker.
There you have it from the man
Yeah.
I am the man. I'm the man, motherfucker.
In the middle of the street.
Oh my god.
Many Redditors claim to have spotted Tom on numerous occasions around the Bay Area in recent years, but none can provide any real insight into his activities. Needless to say, it's sad to see him experience such a decline. Watching Mr. Thomas Brusso enjoying himself to the fullest after becoming the epic beard man, being surrounded by fans, attention, and online adoration, it was a beautiful sight. You couldn't help but feel good for the guy. He was blessed with a glimmer of fame that seemed to bring him happiness occurring late in a life filled with hardships. Unfortunately, though, the demons that plagued Tom throughout his life eventually caught up with him, and his struggles with his apparent mental health problems remained a constant battle that he seemed to have progressively lost. Our country has long underserved its homeless and mentally ill populations, time after time failing to come up with some sort of solution that works in regards to these dilemmas. Thomas Brusso, aka the Epic Beard Man, is yet another example of these failings, notable because his socio-economic downfall shortfall has been so widely documented. While the future is uncertain for Tom, I'm crossing my fingers that we will see him again someday, and hopefully he can find structure in his life once more. Yeah, I know, guys, it's kind of a depressing ending, but that is the story of Tom Brusso, aka the Epic Beard Man. Let me know what you guys thought about this story down below in the comments section. Slap a like on the video, ring
Bruh, I seen freaking the Vietnam Tom was in my work parking lot fucking kicking cars, windows and shit. Definitely didn't look like he was sucked up. The only reason why I knew it was him is because he was yelling that he was Epic Beard Man and shit. That was wild, man. What a great soul. He needs his own podcast. If I could get this dude on a podcast, that'd be a freaking $1 million idea, bro. That'd be great. All right, y'all. I've been sitting here, been talking to myself here for about 3 hours. This has been another MaNiC Chronicles, motherfucker. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for kicking it. I'll probably be doing these more often. Look for this at least once a week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Keep your eyes open. If y'all fucking with me, let me know. You'll probably see more of me. All right, motherfuckers. Take care of yourself, man. Uh, love, love life. Love. A lot of people don't love themselves. Take a look in the mirror. The past is the past. Start building yourself. Start building a future for yourself. Visualize the future. And then do whatever it takes to create that. Because the world, the media, the government, Big Brother, they're not going to pick you up and they're not doing us any favors. Be blessed.